Stop texting for a second because what I'm about to say might completely change how people think about. Have you ever had a great conversation with someone? Everything felt right, the vibe was there, and then suddenly they just disappear, or worse, they reply. But the energy feels dead, like something is missing. Here is the truth. No one tells you attraction does not grow. When you are texting, it actually grows. When you are not, sounds strange. But think about it. Why do some people stay in your head all day, even when they have not texted you back yet? Why do you randomly think about them while doing something completely unrelated? It is not because they texted more, it is because they created mental presence. Most people believe texting is about saying the right thing, the perfect line, the clever reply. But that is surface-level thinking. The real game is psychological. Your brain does not hold on to finished moments, it holds on to open loops. There is a psychological principle behind this where unfinished experiences stay longer in your memory than completed ones. That is why you keep thinking about something that was left incomplete. And that is exactly why some people stay in your mind after just a few texts. Now here is where most people go wrong. They reply too fast. They explain too much. They close every conversation neatly, like it is some kind of formal exchange, no tension, no mystery, no reason to think about them later. Imagine watching something where everything is predictable, every question gets answered immediately, and there is no suspense. You would not remember it. Texting works the same way. The people who stay on your mind are the ones who leave something unfinished. Not in a toxic way, but in a way that creates curiosity. Like instead of finishing a story, you pause it. Instead of answering everything, you leave a hint. Instead of always being available, you create space, and suddenly, something changes. They start wondering about you. And this is important. This is not about playing games. It is about understanding how human attention actually works. Because if you do not create space, there is no room for imagination. And imagination is where attraction quietly grows. Now let's get practical. Because understanding the psychology is one thing, but knowing exactly what to do in real conversations is what actually changes results. The first shift you need to make is in timing. Most people think fast replies show interest, but in reality, instant replies all the time remove emotional buildup. When someone knows you are always available, there is nothing to anticipate. Instead, create natural gaps, not forced delays, but moments where the conversation can breathe. This gives their mind time to process you and, more importantly, to miss you slightly. The second shift is how you respond instead of over-explaining. Keep your messages slightly open-ended. For example, if they ask what you are doing, you could say something simple but layered, like "just got into something interesting I will tell you later." This creates a small curiosity loop in their mind without you trying too hard. Another powerful technique is breaking the pattern. When conversations become predictable, attraction drops. So instead of always replying in the same tone or energy, occasionally shift it. If the conversation is getting too normal, add a playful twist. Or say something unexpected, not random, but enough to make them pause and think about you differently. And here is something most people ignore. Stop trying to carry the entire conversation. If you are always the one asking questions, giving long replies, and keeping things alive, you remove their need to invest. Attraction grows when both sides are slightly leaning in, not when one person is doing all the work. Also, learn to end conversations at a high point instead of ragging them until they fade out. If the vibe is good and the energy is there, pull back slightly. This leaves the interaction feeling incomplete in a positive way and makes them more likely to come back to you later. And finally, understand this. Your goal is not to be constantly present. Your goal is to be memorable. There is a big difference between someone who texts all day and someone who stays on your mind all day. The second one wins every time. Now here is where everything comes together. Because the real goal is not just to text better, but to become someone who naturally stays on people's minds without forcing it. And this happens when you shift your focus from chasing attention to creating emotional impact. Most people think attraction is built through constant communication, but in reality, it is built through how someone feels in the moments between that communication. This is why you can talk to someone all day and still be forgettable, while another person sends just a few messages and somehow becomes unforgettable. The difference is emotional. Imprint: when your texts make someone feel something: curiosity, excitement, slight mystery, or even a bit of anticipation. Their brain holds on to that feeling and keeps coming back to it throughout the day. This is why less can often do more, because you are giving their mind space to replay the interaction and build interest on its own. Another important thing is authenticity, because none of this works if it feels fake. People can sense when someone is trying too hard or following some script. The real power comes when these behaviors feel natural, when you are genuinely engaged, but not overly available; when you are expressive, but not overly available; when you are present, but not predictable. This balance is what creates that subtle pull, where someone starts thinking about you without even realizing it. And over time, this builds something deeper than just attraction. It builds intrigue, and intrigue is what keeps people coming back without you needing to chase them. So instead of asking, "How can I text more?" start asking, "How can I make each interaction leave a mark?" Because at the end of the day, people do not remember every message you send. They remember how you made them feel. And if you can master that, you will not need to constantly text to stay relevant. You will already be on their mind long after the conversation ends.